the ICC, of course, absolutely doing themselves a world of good, at least since Jay Shah has taken over. And I don't say that as a fellow Indian. I'm saying that because he's trying to do as many things to improve the game of cricket. And let's just share our screen right now, because I think our producer ran out of time. Polled him and the graphics boy. But we will share the ICC website and just go through the rules by each of them, and then get Nix and Akshay to figure out what will work essentially in international cricket. I think every rule right now that we'll probably see is going to be already taking part in all the games that we're witnessing. So several changes, as you can see, this press mandate being put up at the ICC, and lots of interesting calls. So the first one, Akshay, stop clock. We've seen it in white ball cricket. Can it work in red ball cricket, mate?
Hopefully, and I think it'll be a lot more effective in red ball cricket, because with white ball cricket, first of all, there's a lot of, broadcasters, sponsorships, brands, and all of those commitments that, these people need to adhere to, which is why invariably they will be a bit more lenient with such things, because they need to ensure that the big names, the captains, none of them, get banned or something frequently. Here, I don't think that will be an issue per se. So I'm hoping that, first of all, from that front, I mean, on that front, umpires will be a lot more stringent with how they monitor this. And secondly, it is important ki bhai, matlab, you can't simply keep taking your time. We've seen in the first test itself, like, if memory serves me right, the way Duckett and Crawley just took their own sweet time, and you could see Siraj also lose it. And I don't just say it's an England thing. We all, like, every team has done it. It is important ki karo, mat karo, wo bhi nahi bole, but there has to be a line drawn somewhere. And I think rules like these will definitely go a long way in ensuring that, at least overs are being begun quickly, and you can move on with the game as soon as possible. So happy change, and yeah, fingers crossed it'll be implemented properly too.
Before we get on to the next rule with Nix, I just want to ask Akshay about that little caveat in that first rule. So Shonak, just go up, because it tells us the failure to do so for the third time in an innings following the 2 warnings from the umpires will result in a 5-run penalty. Now, we've seen 5 runs before in cricket, more famously hitting the helmet, overthrows. Back in the day, I remember people used to run with the ground size of the MCG. Do you think this will become the most common 5-run then, Akshay? And how frequent do you think these 5-run penalties will be there? Because overrates are a problem, especially in a country like England.
No, that I think once, maybe first couple of months or first few months, we might see a few instances of this happening, but then teams will also quickly get wary about it. They'll also learn to be quicker. I don't think they'll be like, ha, theek hai, 5 run de denge, but we'll play according to our own pace. So they'll also get used to this. You just need to give them some time to adapt to it. So maybe it might take some time to transition to the stop clock and getting used to just, getting done with the overs and whatnot. But I don't think we'll see too many instances also. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि, every other game will see such penalties being levied upon teams.
I just think with the stop clock coming in, they have the Megatron in every stadium right now, and it'll definitely be everyone be like, chop, listen, 50 seconds, 40 seconds, the clock is, because the captains are anyway shitting themselves in terms of overrates, match fines, and all of that. So it's a good introduction. Let's move on to the second rule. Then, Nix, I'll come to you on this. Number of balls per ODI innings. Now, this fascinates me because it's something that we've heard so many critics and players talk about in terms of why the sheen of ODI cricket is lost. Because if you take away that old ball, it takes off spinners out of the game, takes spin out of the game, reverse swing out of the game. But now, number of balls per ODI innings, 2 new balls is what we understand. How do you kind of perceive that rule?
No, very good change, very welcome change. We might see the return of the part-timers. So to begin with, because it was a point that we kept saying, if I reverse swing hai, dryer ball, again, it will be very, see, that's why cricket is crazy, This will affect different countries in different ways, where if it is subcontinent, you will have a different type of strategy where you might want to hold back on a pacer or a spinner, especially for the last 16 overs, because you'll know he'll be bowling with an older ball. Sometimes it might be completely different. So, very happy with this. I just hope the white ball survives that time. Because eventually, if you feel, it will be 17 plus 16, 33 overs. इतना I just hope कि by the 46th or 47th over ऐसा नहीं हो जाए कि भाई एकदम ही discolored हो गया, because we've seen that issue in the past with Kukupura, that it does tend to just lose color after a while, which is why the rules were brought in the first place. So let's hope that happens, because जो 350 norm बन रहा था, it has to come down to 300, and we have to start enjoying watching 250 to 310, 320 chases, because this will then ensure that there is a lot more interesting aspect to the game, and I can't wait for the pre and post metric to come out. Okay, wickets lost till 34 overs previously and wickets lost after 34 overs in innings. It will be mad.
That's exactly what I was going to allude to. The sweet 16 of every ODI, which is the final 16 of each innings, will definitely be measured. And Nix hits the nail on the head right there. Akshay, this is something that you practice and probably will go to right now. Boundary catches. Now, how do you, even if you read that information there, I'm still confused. Can you explain it to me in layman terms? How the hell is it going to work?
Sure. Firstly, this rule was much needed. I mean, better late than never. Simply put, the fielder's last point of contact should be within the playing field before you touch the ball. I mean, at no point in time can you be beyond the boundary line, or touch the ground beyond the boundary line and then touch the ball. If you touch it, then immediately it's a six. Simply put, that's how the rule works. So basically, let's say I've taken a catch, I'm losing my balance, so I've gone past the boundary line, so I've thrown it up in the air. Now I've gone past the boundary line, I'm still there, but I have to come back now. I have to come back to the playing field before making contact with the ball. I cannot even be in the air. So bunny hopping is basically you're still outside the boundary line. Wahin pe you go up in the air, you catch, and then you just keep hopping. You can keep doing it infinite number of times. Earlier, that was the case, wherein even beyond the boundary line, you could just keep doing it till you could finally manage to bring it over into the playing area. Now that won't be the case. You have to come to the playing area yourself before you have contact with the ball. If you don't, then it's a six. You remember the BBL incident a couple of years ago, right? I'm forgetting. Michael Nesa was the fielder, if I'm not wrong. That will now be a six. It was given out then. That will now be a six.
So just to understand, 366 days ago, what Suryakumar Yadav did in Barbados, that still is legal.
Yeah, that's still out. Yeah.
Okay, fair. And Chandan Ramya quickly saying boundary line change is very welcome. Remember, guys, if you guys are just watching us, key in all your questions. We will, of course, take them at the end of the show, but we're just going through the new ICC rules, as you can see. Now, deliberate short runs is another thing which is on their list. And as it says there, adding to the present 5-run penalty, the fielding team will also choose which of the two batters take strike for the next delivery. Now, Nix, there's going to be a lot of hullabaloo on this one.
And fair also. I think too often the batting side, not the batting side, the batters, I feel, have too much in their favor any which ways. So this will be good, because if you're deliberately running short, so that the right guy is on strike, then the fielding team will always say, no, we do not want that guy on strike. Let this guy be on strike. So fair, and the penalty is also good, because see, any which ways, is sunke maza aa raha, but it doesn't happen too often. So whenever it happens, there will be a lot more fun to it. That's all.
Okay. There is also another change over there. As you can see, the DRS wicket zone. The wicket zone will be now the actual outline of the stumps and the bail. So that's just more technology and conciseness of it. Let's move on to the next couple of ones, because those are real nitty-gritties that we'd like to show you. Concussion protocols. Now, as it says, there are two particular changes to these concussion protocols. Now, it is, of course, something to take note of. The second point there, if someone gets concussed, 7 days they need to take a break before they return to play, because that is just now it. So it gives people not to break the loophole of, you know what, let's just put him out of this test, even though no test team does that. But ICC just wants to make sure that that sanity is clean. And the fact that essentially they're asking teams now to nominate their designated concussion replacement. Now, was it Javagal Srinath who was a match referee who deemed it to be a like for like with Shardul and Shivam Dubey? I'm getting the personnel wrong, but it caused a real uproar. Who were those two cricketers?
It was David Boone, Ravindra Jadeja, Yuzvendra Chahal. If I'm not wrong, if I'm assuming
that was the previous instance.
This is the first one.
More.
Okay.
This is Harshit Rana. Yeah, Harshit Rana for Shivam Dubey.
Shivam Dubey. So that can clearly not happen. But if I understand this rule, Akshay, do they mean that they have to make sure a designated concussion replacement for each player? So 11, or how does it work then?
No, it's a set, basically.
Each category.
One
Each
keeper.
Category.
Yeah, like that you have they've already defined that set की क्या क्या category है उन सब से एक एक करके 5 player होंगे, And yeah, and then like for like based on whoever it is.
So the
From that,
categories will obviously differ in terms of spin bowling, all-rounder, spin batting, all-rounder, fast batting, all-rounder, whatever, right?
so all-rounder, matlab now one innings would have already been done, right? So earlier, like which is why Ravindra Jadeja and Yuzvendra Chahal were considered like for like, because when it comes to bowling, both are bowlers who turn the ball away from the right-hander. Vesa, like that's the logic they'll apply. I don't think they look at a spin bowling all-rounder has to be replaced by a spin bowling all-rounder. They look at who's coming in. Like in a batting innings, Jadeja and Chahal aren't like for like. Jadeja is probably like for like with maybe Dubey, like for instance. So that's how they look at it. I don't think all-rounder will be looked at that way, but I have to I don't think that's mentioned in the rules as well. Like again, it's still open to interpretation, so that's where you would expect the third umpires to be a lot more cautious while exercising while exercising their jurisdiction.
Okay. Apex asking us about the DRS. We'll take that in the 12th man for sure, and I'll give you an explained answer to that. But we'll just move on because, in the interest of time, a few more ones which we'll just whiz through. Replacement players. Now, for example, a player just goes through a horrendous injury during the game. Now, it will be, of course, made sure that after the match started, maybe replace the remainder of the match. So that's something to, of course, note as well. And then the wide ball trial. This is an experiment that they've been wanting for a while, part of the MCC, and now I think it's going to come to fruition. It goes on to say, in an effort to provide leniency for a bowler who sees the batter moving around prior to the delivery, a new wide ball rule will be trialed. Now, this would excite Akshay Kumar Swamy, who I've done multiple watch-alongs with, because you've lost your mind at times and be like, how is this given a wide? So right now, as part of the changes, the position of the batter's legs at the point of delivery will be now used as a reference point for the wide. So you agree with that?
Yeah, the rule is fair. What wasn't fair was when, like, this is basically what happened with Ashwin in the TNPA. Like, वो पता नहीं था ना अभी अचानक से तुम enforce कर दोगे बिना ठीक से बताए. So that's what was considered to be unfair. I think it's a fair point, and you need to give bowlers some margin for error. Yeah, like if a batter is going to move left, right, and center, I understand the on-field umpire not like. At the end of the day, he's human. Even he has a reaction time. He or she has a reaction time of 0.001 seconds. So they cannot keep checking, boss, has the line moved? How much has it moved by and all? So it's a very fair call, and it has to be there. It gives bowlers a bit more leeway, and I think it'll also bring in a layer of tactic wherein now bowlers will start recognizing batters who tend to move a lot, and we might see a lot more of these leg side-ish deliveries, straighter deliveries. Earlier, bowlers used to completely stay away from this because halka sa bhi, if you stray down the leg, we've always spoken about how these are bad deliveries irrespective of the field setting. But now if you see a batter shuffling too much outside the off stump, you have that option. Ki boss, because the leg ke wo line ke andar dalna, I don't have to bowl at the stumps. So I think this is a very good call, and T20s it'll make for some entertaining viewing.
No, indeed, it just makes me think of, I think, one ridiculous knock from Steve Smith, was it, who was just batting way outside off stump, I think against Pakistani bowler, and the guy kept going that way, I think to Bahab Riaz, right?
Yeah.
And in that kind of case, when Smith, he's not like premeditating, he's just standing way outside off stump. So then the line goes with him, I'm guessing.
I see, basically at the point of release, lines are drawn at the point of release. So if Smith has already moved there, then the leg stump becomes the line. Once, the issue starts when batters start moving after the ball is released. That's where bowlers are like, bhai, kya fayda hua? So yeah.
Okay, let's move on and see what else is in store for this one, because it just goes on to say, look, all the particular rules will basically be commencing from this WTC cycle, and of course all the other things going forward. So that was basically just to showcase what the ICC have been up to